On a tranquil Sunday evening, the kind where the burdens of the past week weigh heavily and self-deception becomes impossible, a single utterance unraveled the life I had woven with the man I once cherished as my soulmate. I never intended to wound him, nor did I even realize he was within earshot. Yet those words, spoken carelessly, demolished everything we had built together. My closest confidant, Sarah, had dropped by our home for a casual glass of wine. We lounged in the cozy living room, the soft hum of the evening wrapping around us. My husband Nathan was supposedly upstairs tinkering with something in the storage room, or so I believed. Sarah and I were deep in conversation, though it was more me pouring out my heart than a balanced exchange. The wine had loosened my restraint, and the strain of recent months, the heated arguments, the oppressive silences, the bone-deep weariness came spilling out like a river breaching its banks. "I don't know, Sarah," I murmured, pressing my fingers to my throbbing temples. "Some days I wish I hadn't married him." The moment the words escaped, a cold knot twisted in my gut, as if I'd invoked some irreversible curse. Sarah's eyes snapped to mine, her voice sharp. "You don't mean that," but the truth was murky. Part of me did mean it in the way one does when suffocated by the grind of daily life, when love morphs into obligation, and obligation curdles into regret. Yet another part of me still loved him, or at least I thought I did. Unbeknownst to me, Nathan stood frozen on the staircase, absorbing every syllable. The next morning the house felt wrong. The coffee maker sat untouched. Nathan's keys weren't in their usual spot by the door. His boots, always neatly lined up, were gone. At first I assumed he'd left early for work, but a nagging unease crept in. Nathan never left without a goodbye kiss. Not even after our fiercest clashes. By midday I dialed his phone. No response. I sent a text. Silence. Desperate, I opened my laptop to email his work address only to find a single message waiting in my inbox. The subject line was a single word. "Farewell. I overheard you last night," the email began. I wasn't meant to, but I did. Those words weren't spoken in anger. They were your truth. And that truth shattered me. I poured my entire soul into us. And all this time you've been carrying this regret. Don't look for me. The divorce papers are already filed. I'm not bitter. I just refuse to be someone's regret. Signed, Nathan. My breath caught in my throat. I read the message repeatedly, each word a hammer striking my heart. There was no rage, no plea for reconciliation, no demand for explanations, just a quiet final severing. I raced to his office only to learn he'd resigned that morning. His desk cleared out. By afternoon his phone was disconnected. His social media accounts had vanished. Mutual friends were clueless, and his brother mentioned only that Nathan needed space and wanted no contact. It was as if he'd dissolved into thin air. Days later, the divorce papers arrived pristine and official. His signature was already there. The process set in motion without so much as a conversation. I became a mere formality. Name, address, checkmark, done. I waited for anger to surge within me, for denial to take root, but all that came was a suffocating guilt. Memories of our early years flooded back. Nathan's gaze as if I were his universe. His unwavering patience when I needed solitude. His quiet strength when I faltered. Then I recalled his expression at dinner just days before. Worn distant but still trying. He was still there. I was the one who had drifted. Sleep eluded me for weeks. I replayed that moment on the couch with Sarah endlessly, dissecting why I'd said it, questioning whether it was true or if I'd simply let my own insecurities fester instead of confiding in him. Months dragged on. I hired a private investigator, but the trail was cold. No new address, no financial activity. Nathan had erased himself entirely. With time I began to understand why. Hearing those words, especially when I thought he wasn't listening, wasn't just painful, it was a revelation to him. It confirmed a truth I'd buried. I had let my love for him erode in silence. And when he heard it spoken aloud, he chose to walk away, preserving the last shred of his self-respect. Now I often wonder where he is. Is he content? Has he found someone who wakes each morning and sees him as the greatest choice they ever made? Because in hindsight I know he was mine. But that realization comes too late. Nathan vanished to reclaim his peace, leaving me with nothing but the haunting echo of my own careless words. Words I can never unsay.